Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fossano, and you guys are watching my First Friday Flight Fight. And today we're looking at the Booker's releases from 2022, and we're going to be doing a Booker's Bourbon blind battle. So there you go for a double alliteration. I think my 8th grade language arts teacher, Mrs. Randall, would be proud of me. And Robert, if you're watching, do you remember Miss Randall? I thought she was pretty cool. And also, before I get started, I also want to give a shout out to Marianne. This flight would not be possible without her help. So thank you, Marianne. If you are watching this, I really appreciate the help acquiring some of these bottles. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go from my left to right and then my right to left. I'm going to nose them and taste them, give you guys some ideas of what I think. I'm going to speed up the camera while I end up A/B testing them, take a little bit of notes, and then I'm going to be back and tell you guys what I think about ranking them between my favorite to my least favorite. So from left to right, I have these in order from release date. I have Ronnie's Batch, the Lumberyard, the Kentucky Tea, and then Pinky's. I don't have the best memory in the world, so let me go ahead and give you the stats for Ronnie's Batch. This was the first release. It's coming in at 124.3 proof. This is 6 years, 11 months, and 22 days. The second release is going to be the Lumberyard. We're looking at 124.8 proof, 7 years, 1 month, 7 days. Kentucky Tea is coming in at 126.5 proof. This is 7 years, 4 months, 14 days. And then the last release, the 04 release, or 2022-04, we're looking at 122.4 proof. This is 6 years, 10 months, and 10 days. So let me go ahead and put these off to the side. Get these things all mixed up. Place them back on the tasting rack. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's like dominoes. They're all falling over. So I have these things numbered 1 through 4 on the bottom of the glasses just to correspond with the releases. Ronnie's Batch is number 1. Lumberyard is number 2. The Kentucky Tea is number 3. And then Pinky's Batch is number 4. Now these are Jim Beam products, so I'm expecting to get a pretty good nutty note with the traditional bourbon notes as well. So I'm expecting some caramel and brown sugars and those deep oak notes. So let's go ahead and get these things on the nose and see how we do. And I don't think I'm really going to try to guess the bottles. I've had these things in the past, but my goal here is just to see what I like the most. They're all coming in at $109 in Phoenix, Arizona. And I used a Knob Creek 9, the single barrel reserve, as a palate warmer because that is a Jim Beam product as well. Knob Creek 9. It's also like 127, 129 proof, 124 proof, somewhere around there. So let's get this on the nose. Yep, a little bit of dusty peanut butter shell kind of note there. This one has more of a nutty note than this one does. This seems to be a little bit subdued. Let's go with the third one. More of a peanut note on this one. I do get the rich caramel and brown sugars and the oak in here, and that dog next door drives me nuts. All right, and then on the fourth one, this one seems to be a little bit more of a, like a wet peanut shell. All right, these are all pretty close. The middle two don't seem to have that nutty note like the outside two. Whoa, that one might be the highest proof one, but these two seem to be the most nutty. These are not as nutty. The traditional notes are still there. The dark brown sugar, the oak, the caramel, those things are there. Let's go and get these on the palate. I think these are all going to be pretty high proof, but that one is stinging. Holy cow. Rich and deep, full of flavors. That's more of a peanut buttery note, pretty viscous, pretty high ABV. Let's get the second one here. Definitely not as hot. I get a little bit more oak in this one than I get that one, but that also could be it's my second sip. And as I go through these, more oak might come out, and I think that's important to go back the other direction and then A/B compare them and see if anything else comes out. You get some cherry notes in here. I might be repeating myself a lot, but definitely the brown sugars and the caramel are there. The mouthfeel on this one is a lot better than this one. Let's go for the third one. It seems to be similar in ABV, maybe a little bit less than this one, but not as strong as that one. Oakiness seems to be the same. I get more of maybe a vanilla and a brown sugar on this one than this one. Right off the bat, I like this one, then this one. Let's go with the fourth one, and then we'll work our way back after I give my palate a little rinse with some water. All right, that one seems to be pretty high in ABV as well. Lighting up my tongue, feels like it's burning in the very front, rolls across. Pretty good mouthfeel on this one as well. Maybe the second highest proof, but it might also be a little bit more proofy than this. I'm not exactly sure. Again, all of those traditional notes are there. The brown sugar, the caramel, the oak, the nuttiness. This one doesn't seem to be too peanut buttery. Just I get a sense of dusty peanut shells. All right, let's do a pretty quick rinse here and then work our way back the other way. And you know what? Honestly, right now, I think the Knob Creek 9, that single barrel select, might be a little bit better than these. I don't necessarily think I might be a Booker's fan. They're good, don't get me wrong, but $109, that might be pushing it. All right, let's go back the other direction. Let's get it on the nose and then taste it. I'm getting a little bit of cherry in here along with some oak. All the dark notes are still there. ABV is pretty good. Definitely getting a warmth in the chest. And I'm cycling through these things pretty quick. Lots of oak in that one, a little bit of cherry, a little high on the ABV. See, now this one seems to be higher on the ABV. Lighting up my tongue, got the burning on the tip of my tongue. Pretty thin, not a lot of flavor. Lots of oak, a little bit of bitterness. I don't get much cherry on that one, but that dusty note is still there. All right, that one's pretty good. A little bit of cherry, brown sugar's there, the caramel's there. Big blast of oak on the back of the palate there. A little bit drying, still pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and go with the last one. And then I need to A-B compare these back and forth. Need to take some notes. I'll fast forward it and then I'll come back with a decision. This one smells really good. On the nose, I think so far, on the nose and on the palate, this first one is good. That one seems to be definitely the highest proof. And I've already forgot, the cards are sitting there, but I already forgot which one was the highest proof. Good amount of oak, good amount of cherry. I like the viscosity of that one. I do know I need to spend some time between these, tasting them back to back. And I'm just gonna speed it up and then see what we come up with. Okay, I'm back and I think I have a pretty good decision here. This is what's important about blind tasting. When you're in order from left to right and right to left, you really do need to take some time and flip-flop your tasting, because my original thought was this one by far on the nose and on the palate was the best one. And then as I went back and forth, this one started to be a little bit lower on the totem pole, and it eventually turned out to be my least favorite of all of them. This one ended up being a little bit more oak dominant, more so that I'm not really necessarily particularly caring for it. It seems to have changed the complete mouthfeel. It's over oaked. The viscosity turned into a little bit of a bitterness. It stuck around a little bit too long and the flavors changed. So this one seems to be, for me, the one that I'm gonna put in last place. My first place is gonna be the second one that I had. The ABV on this one sat really well with me. They started to be a little bit more comparable as far as the heat goes. I thought this one was the hottest, but after going back and forth, these seem to be pretty close to being the same. One of them ended up being pretty hot. This one ended up being a little bit brown sugar dominant, followed by a good cherry and a good spice. And then the third one in the row ended up being my third place. The third place on this one kind of started to chop down a little bit because of the oakiness. It seemed to be a little bit more oaked, not necessarily as much as this one, but it stuck around again a little bit too long, and then it ended up turning into having a little bit of a bitter note to it. I do get nuttiness and cherry on here, but it doesn't seem as rounded as this one did. The spice was there, the oak was there. It just kind of it fell into a pretty good solid third. And then my second place was this one. But the nuttiness seemed to be a little bit more overpowering when this one had more of a front forward brown sugar followed by the nuttiness. This one was a little bit more peanut buttery. This one was more of a dusty shelled nut, followed by the brown sugar, and then the cherry, and then the oakiness. So first, second, third, fourth. I'm not gonna guess which one is which because it's been probably about 2 or 3 weeks since I've had these, and I just really don't know. I know that I didn't like the Ronnie's batch as much as all of the others when I did this, so it wouldn't surprise me if this was the Ronnie's batch, but I have no idea what the others are. So first, second, third, fourth. So let's see what we have in a fourth place. Fourth place, no surprise. Well, maybe it is a surprise. Fourth place is sticker number 1. This is Ronnie's batch. Third place ends up being bottle 4. So this was the most current release. This is Pinky's batch. So I'm down to Lumberyard and Kentucky Tea. This was my third place. My third place was bottle number 3. Bottle number 3, the third release, 1, 2, 3. The third release was Kentucky Tea. And then, which means the fourth place, or my first place, was Lumberyard. So yeah, so there you go. Lumberyard for me, for this Booker's 2022, ended up taking a first place. I think they were all fairly close in mouthfeel and taste and on the nose and all that. And I can honestly say for $109, my warm-up whiskey for the Knob Creek 9, I think I would actually kind of opt for that one over Booker's. I think it has more richness. I like the mouthfeel a little bit more, not necessarily as nutty. And I believe the cost of that is also a little bit less than these. So there you guys have it. This is my first Friday flight fight. If you guys like this information, if you like this kind of style of content and you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you like the way I do things in here, give me a like. Share this with somebody in the whiskey world that might get enjoyment out of it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the Booker's lineup. Turn that bell notification on because I'm producing videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So when I go live with a video or when it gets published, you'll be notified. And with all that, I am going to enjoy the Lumberyard, enjoy your journey, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.